Hey friends, it is I, Dan Phelps. This is On Looping, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about micro looping and sampling, two musical techniques that I feel sort of bring the electric guitar into the modern age. We're going to talk about how you can do that with the Chase Bliss Audio Bloopers sampler mode, and I'm going to compare it to one of my favorites, the Hexe Revolver. So stay tuned. Let's talk about micro looping and sampling. You may say, Dan, what's the difference between looping and micro looping or sampling? And there's kind of two ways that I would define that. One is that a sampler usually doesn't allow you to capture audio and then begin to overdub things or layer things on top of it. And I don't know that there is a agreed upon definition of how long a loop has to be before it becomes a normal loop and how short it has to be a micro loop. But I would say for my own reference, maybe a second or less equals a micro loop. Often micro loops are really just a little snippet of audio that's repeated again and again, kind of a glitchy, bloopy, beepy texture. The next thing you might say is, well, why does this matter to me as a guitar player? The thing that I've said about looping and sampling as musical techniques is I feel that they really bring this instrument that we know and love, the electric guitar, into the modern age. Using something like micro looping or sampling to capture and manipulate the guitar's sound kind of keeps the things that are so great about the electric guitar and have been great about the electric guitar since the 50s and 60s and puts it in a more modern context, much in the way that a turntablist might sample a guitar break or a lick and chop it up or destroy it and use something like granular synthesis in order to mangle it and turn it into something else. We can do the same thing with micro looping and sampling. So to show you what some of these techniques look and sound like, I'm going to use the blooper in its sampler mode, which is the way that the folks over at Chase Bliss have decided to embody these sounds and effects in their very versatile, cute little blue pedal. And I'm going to compare it to the Hexe Revolver, one of my perennial favorites that I would put into the micro looping and sampling category. This is a pedal from Germany that I found out about through the great David Torn, one of the pioneers of ambient guitar and looping. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here in my little pedal array, I have the Hexe Revolver, Chase Bliss Blooper, and this Quiet Theory Prelude pedal, which is just providing a little bit of reverb because I enjoy that kind of thing. All right, let's talk about the blooper in sampler mode and compare it to one of my all-time favorites, the Hexe Revolver. In sampler mode, the record button on the blooper functions in two different ways. The first way is pretty much how it functions when you are making loops. You step on it one time, it goes into record, you step on it again, and that signals the end of the loop, and it goes into its normal playback mode. However, in sampler mode, rather than stepping on the switch and going into overdub, the next time you step on the record switch, it goes immediately into recording a new sample. Here's an example of that. So basically this puts the blooper into sort of a endless audio grabbing mode, if you will. Another way that the record switch functions is that it will go into sample mode for as long as you are holding down the record switch. So something like this. This is actually very similar to how the Hexe Revolver behaves. as long as you're holding down the record switch, or in this case, the capture switch, it's recording your material. And when you let up, it goes into playback mode. Well, I think that it's really great that the Blooper offers both of these ways of capturing audio in the sample mode. I wish there were a way to kind of turn them on and off, or have one or the other, because one of the features that I enjoy the most about the Hexe Revolver is the ability to grab really short little bits of audio like this. It creates really strange, glitchy moments and allows me essentially to resample bits of lines and chords that I'm playing on the fly, whereas the Blooper doesn't respond quite as quickly to this technique. As you can see, the length of my stepping on the Blooper switch has to be a little longer in order for it to engage that mode of operation. Regardless, it's very cool that Chase Bliss has included this mode in the Blooper because I love sampling little bits of my playing and even just using it as an opportunity to create textures and moods on the fly. For instance, I really enjoy the sound of sampling a little bit of a chord without the initial attack, because you get sort of a rhythmic quality to the sample, but it doesn't include all of that intense transient information. Something like this. So on and so forth. In addition, you're able to apply all of the Blooper's modifiers to the playback of the samples, which gives you the opportunity to sort of create really weird and surprising reactions. Something like this. Being able to apply the Blooper's modifiers to the playback of your samples is super fun because in a sort of sleight of hand way, you can capture a little bit of what you're doing and send it back out in a completely different context and begin to improvise off of that, kind of as though there's a second person involved in what you're doing. An example might be something like this. I do similar things with the Revolver. I've been using it for a really long time, and one of my favorite features of the Revolver is that it has sort of a random resampling, reshuffling mode where stuff that I played into it will get chopped up, shuffled around, and recontextualized. Sounds something like this. Similarly, the Hexe Revolver allows you to play things back at different speeds, much like the blooper. I can create a lot of similar effects between the blooper and the Hexe Revolver, but there is something pretty visceral about the way that the revolver is laid out and how it operates, being able to capture really short bits of audio with the capture switch and being able to just turn it straight off again with the on-off switch. Make it really easy to kind of move on when I'm improvising and performing and just kind of in the heat of battle. I don't know, when I'm in the middle of playing a solo, I might grab a little bit of some fast, wiggly line and just spit it back out again in a strange way. I love that kind of stuff. It makes things sound crazy. And I just love being able to grab those little bits of audio. Even using the kind of randomizing algorithm on the revolver and those little kind of chord pads is really beautiful sounding to me. Due to the fact that the blooper just doesn't respond quite as quickly as the Hexe Revolver, I don't think I could quite do the same thing with it. However, the blooper's really strong audio mangling possibilities that it offers via its modifiers make it really fun and powerful in this kind of sampling mode. I guess the moral of the story is that I might have to end up using both of these on my pedal board at the same time. So hopefully you can see how sampling and micro looping are really beautiful, powerful techniques for bringing the sound of the electric guitar that we all love and know into the modern age and giving it kind of a unique current context, if you will. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, you can reach me at hello@danphelps.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, where I'm doing a series of daily bloop-inspired improvisations. If you use the hashtag bloops, I did it again, you'll find all of those things. And comment here on this video. Tell me what you enjoyed about it. Tell me your questions. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the content that I'm creating. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.